because you need them to stay in place while you put the door panel on. Okay, so back over at the truck here, guys. We've got our two slightly more tensioned, those are called speed clips, or body retention clips, if you will. And they're back in place, and as you can see, they don't want to fall down now. They don't want to just sag down. The holes do need to match up to the holes in the body, or you're going to be feeding your door panel bolts into literally an empty hole. So our sound and weather barrier here, we're just going to kind of, usually you can re-stick it into place. Some people tape them, I tend not to. Again, that polyurethane generally sticks pretty good. So when you're all done, it should look kind of like this, right before you put the door panel on. So in the same fashion as we took it off, we'll go get our door panel. Again, grab it by the handle, that's where it's reinforced. Now, I'm gonna need two hands for this, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to put the camera down. But if you look in there, you can see all our wiring. So we'll do the same thing again. Rest the, you don't want to put too much downforce there, because those tabs will break off and then you will be unhappy. And then you'll be like, what the heck, Cadillac doctor? What'd you tell me to do? Break my truck. So it's pretty self-explanatory from here on in. Squeeze that guy together, make sure it goes all the way in and clicks. And I'm going to kind of hold the harness so that you get at least one or two of them through the panel opening, like so, and hold them out pretty much, not pulling hard, but hold them out pretty much as far as you can while you deal with the rest. Now, if you don't connect this, this cable, you won't be able to get out of the vehicle from the inside, so that's fairly important. If you're traveling with your significant other and they can't get out, I assure you they will be unhappy. So again, that goes into the little opening there, and then simply snaps into place like that. So there's a little bit of tension on there. You don't want to put too much tension on it because you don't want to damage the cable casing. Make sure you can access your wiring harness here for the passenger door module. So you've got, make sure you can access all of the connectors that you took out originally. So remember what I was saying before about the top of the door hooks over the inside reveal molding. So we're going to lift up again by the handle, push slightly in, and again, it's a little bit of a struggle to do this with one hand. So if you see kind of a big gap like that, you want to make sure that it went all the way on and that you don't have any major gaps here. So you lift slightly up, slightly down, right? And then if you've done it correctly, and do not use a whole bunch of force here, again, you don't want to ruin anything, you don't want to have any issues. I'm going to put the camera down just to manipulate this a little bit. So, as you can see, we've got the reveal molding lined up with the top of the door panel now. If you've done it correctly, you should be able to start pushing on stuff. And sometimes it takes a little bit of force. Don't get too violent with it. You don't want to break anything, like I said. All of these, all of those clips that we pulled out before should line back up in place. Now you can take your fingers and just kind of go along the bottom of the door and feel for gaps. If you've forgotten one, there will be a gap wherever that place is. We'll put our triangular mirror molding on. then we can put our passenger door module in. Now, if you've forgotten where they go, guys, they're labeled with what color of connector goes where. So don't be too concerned about that. It's again, it's fairly self-explanatory. So the white goes to white, etc., etc. And again, I'm going to pause the video for the sake of needing both hands right now. Okay, so we've got all of our connectors that were previously connected in, and we're going to fit that into the door. Again, don't use a whole bunch of force, use even force. There's a clip at the front, sorry, at the back, and again at the front. We want to make sure they're lined up and use an even pushing force to push it down. When you're done, you should have an even gap all the way around, right? And it should pretty much look as it did before. So we're gonna go ahead and put in our bolts, our 3 bolts there. So we've got our hardware back in and secured. Again, they don't have to be crazy tight. It's only holding a piece of plastic. We don't need to tighten it to, oh my God, foot-pounds. So we push our trim panels back in. Again, nice, even, steady pressure. You can see my gloves starting to come apart a little bit. And oh, I think I might have broken that. Yes, I did. So, in light of this, yep, I've broken a little tab there. This is entirely up to you. What sometimes I do is use a little dot of trim adhesive. Do not use crazy glue, because if you ever have to get it apart again, you're going to literally hate your life. Okay, we're back after our little trim fiasco there. What I did to remedy the situation for now is right here is the bolt. I put a dot of trim adhesive right there, and that's where the closest proximity between the trim and what's behind it come in close contact. So that will hold itself there. I'll let it dry, obviously. So before we go any further, we want to make sure that our lock works. As you can see, it's moving up and down properly by itself, like it should. Now, when you put these on, you want to slide that down. Keep in mind your button there is still out. So put it on, slide it down. So you actually want to put a light downward pressure on that. And we want to do this with, you want to make sure that it's unlocked. Put a slight downward pressure on it so that, it's hard to see, but see how it's kind of pushing it outward there? So with one finger there and the thumb there, push in. So when you're done, you actually can't see the bottom. Sorry guys, focus. You actually can't see the bottom line there, because if you can, what will happen is when it's locked, you'll have a whole bunch of your lock knob protruding above the trim. So you want it to be just about flush. And there we go. There's our latch replacement on the 2008 Cadillac Escalade. That is inclusive of 2007 through 2014, I believe. And again, common failure. Might end up with alarm issues because the door thinks it's locked. It's not locked. So if someone tugs on the door, the vehicle alarm will go off, the factory alarm. And the other thing is obviously lack of security for the contents of the vehicle. So one of the most important things is all we have left over is tools. So the other thing you want to do is make sure that you can open the door, oops, from the outside. And what just happened there, you probably saw it, was the latch is closed because this was a used latch. The latch is closed without the door actually being closed. So what you do is take the outside handle, hold it out, and at the same time, just put your finger in there and pull the latch outward.